Today I'm going to make blueberry muffins, and I'll put the ingredients on my video, and you can pause after that, write them down, and then I'll get started. Here we're preparing the muffin pan by putting in some large muffin liners, and this recipe will actually make around 8 to 10 muffins, so we have to have another pan ready. Also, we have our butter left out to soften, and what we're going to need to do is mix it in the mixer and get it soft for a few minutes. Now the butter's nice and soft, we're going to add the sugar, and then we're going to cream that for several minutes, and I'll time it. I've used the whip attachment on the mixer to cream the butter with the sugar, and we want it to be light and fluffy, and that took about 10 minutes. So for the dry ingredients, I'm going to mix together the flour, and I had already measured out the baking powder and the salt. Put that in there, and we'll mix up the dry ingredients separately. At this point, I'm going to add 1 egg at a time into the butter and sugar mixture, and I'm going to beat that and then add the second one. As we've spent a nice long while, 10 minutes, mixing up the butter with the sugar, it was a lot fluffier before we added the eggs, so it doesn't really take long to beat in the 2 eggs, and it should look about like this. Next, I'm going to add the vanilla. So I've added 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we'll put it back on the mixer and mix it for just a minute or so. At this point, I'm going to alternate incorporating the dry ingredients with the cream, and we'll do that in about thirds. So first, I'll mix in the dry ingredients and get that mixed up, and then add some of the cream. Before I add the blueberries to the batter, I'm dredging them in about 1/4 cup of flour. At this point, I'm going to fill the muffin cups with our batter. I like to use an ice cream scoop for this purpose. It makes it easier to measure, and you can get an even amount of batter in each muffin. I refer to, at least the farm market where I buy it, as gourmet sugar. You could use just regular granulated sugar, but I think this makes a much crispier top and a nicer texture. Well, we baked our blueberry muffins now at 375 for about 20 minutes. I then turned the oven down to 350 and baked them for another 5 minutes. And about 3 minutes before I took them out of the oven, I sprinkled on some more of our gourmet sugar. And there we have crispy top blueberry muffins.